Delegate Patrick Hope served his first session representing the 46th District in Arlington County and sits on Courts of Justice and Health, Welfare, and Institutions committees. And prior to his time in office, Delegate Hope worked for healthcare organizations and focused on expanding access to healthcare, an area that he continues to dedicate himself to in the legislature, and he has been appointed by the governor to the Virginia Health Reform Initiative Commission. Welcome, Delegate Hope.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here today, and I will talk a little bit about the Health Reform Initiative because that is a passion of mine. I'm the only member from Northern Virginia appointed to the Health Reform Initiative. The initiative was put in place to implement the Affordable Care Act at the federal level, but also to take a more global look at our Medicaid program because the Medicaid budget is really just out of control. The governor throws out a number that the Medicaid budget has grown over the last 25 years by 1,500%. And as a part of our budget, in 1985, it was 3% of our budget, and it's now about 21 or 22% of our budget. So the numbers are just growing and growing and growing. And I think the perspective of the Health Reform Initiative is to really get a good handle as to where our money in Medicaid is going. And it's about health care as one, and paying for costly services that occur in hospitals and emergency rooms. Many people with heart disease and diabetes and asthma and hypertension, enormous part of our Medicaid budget, but no one teaches people how to manage their disease. And you know, Medicaid will pay for a $40,000 foot amputation for someone who's a diabetic and not able to check their blood circulation. They have a hard time paying for a $100 visit to the podiatrist. And we need to change that incentive, and we need to work on people and help them manage their disease better. So this group is also taking a look at that. The federal law is going to likely make 400,000 Virginians eligible for Medicaid now, which is very important. Virginia was one of the lowest in the country in Medicaid eligibility, and the federal law, fully implemented in 2014, will bring about 400,000 Virginians now under eligibility, which is a very, very good thing. The troubling aspect of that is, are they going to have a doctor to see them? The things that we've seen in Massachusetts, their experience is they saw a 20% increase in their numbers of ER visits because they couldn't find a doctor. I'm a guardian for a couple people, and it's very difficult to find a Medicaid physician. And the government is not very creative or innovative when it comes to solving our Medicaid problems. They will look to price controls, and they will just ratchet down the reimbursement for our hospitals and our physicians. We currently pay about 64 cents on the dollar for our physicians in our hospitals. And I hope in this session to really shine a spotlight on what we're doing to our providers, because you can have an insurance card all you want and dance in the streets, but if you can't find access to your coverage, it doesn't make much sense to have it at all. So we need to work the way to expand that. So I'll be spending a lot of time just really focusing on that, making sure try to get that payment up to our providers so that we can have physicians of all specialties in every parts of the state. My time is up, and I'm delighted to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Delegate Barbara Comstock also is new to the General Assembly, but certainly not to Northern Virginia. She's in the McLean District that was represented for a while by Delegate Callahan. Delegate Comstock serves on general laws, science and technology, and transportation committees, and she's also a member of the Governor's Economic Development and Job Creation Commission, as well as the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission, and we welcome you.
Thank you. Good to be with you. And like my colleague David Bulova, I don't have anywhere else to go either, so we're not as popular as some of our other colleagues. So I'll be sticking around and look forward to visiting with you. I have been serving on the Jobs Commission, and I think that gives an opening to talk about sort of what I think will continue to be our #1 priority this year is, next year in the next session is jobs. Because obviously if we want to have increased revenues, if we're going to get more money to deal with all the issues we need to deal with here, we need to have more good high-paying jobs, and then secondly to make sure our infrastructure, our schools, our roads, our healthcare system is in good shape to attract those jobs and keep those jobs coming. Fortunately, as Vivian said, we're not California, And California does have about, I think it's about 3,000 people who leave California a week. Fortunately, a lot of them are coming here. And the governor was in California last week, and I know he was meeting with lots of businesses. The Fairfax County Economic Development Office has an office in California where they get a lot of interest in coming to Virginia and being both job friendly. And I think obviously having the top schools in the country is an important thing. And one of the first things that we were all able to work on this year that haven't been mentioned is the LCI freeze that had been put from the previous budget, which was freezing the school funding formula that would have shortchanged Fairfax County by about $60 million. Northern Virginia would have lost, I guess, about $120 million. And the governor did work with us, but really the entire Northern Virginia community came together, the Chamber of Commerce, Northern Virginia Technology Council, and I know all, the PTAs and the parents. I know every time the governor or lieutenant governor came up here, they were hearing from you, from the business community, from everybody about how important it was if we were going to continue to attract jobs to keep our top schools. And my husband has been in the Fairfax County school system for 25 years, and over 25 years. My sister's also in the system, so this is very personal to me. And obviously, just from even if you didn't have children in the system, if you have a house, if you care about attracting jobs here, keeping our schools number one is a top priority for all of us. We also did have the transportation audit this year, which hadn't been passed for a number of years. There's been a lot of pressure to have an outside audit, and we were able to. They found $1.4 billion in transportation money. Now, that is one-time money. We still are going to need to have more revenues for transportation. Obviously, increasing the jobs is going to be something that's going to be helpful with that. But that $1.4 billion now is going to give us a good cushion to start working on our transportation issues. And then also we have the $500 million in bonds that we started putting out. So some of the, again, jobs is going to be where it's at in order to make this all work.
Thank you very much. Delegate Kaye Kory is in the 38th District, and that includes Mason District, where many of you and those who work and support public education recognize her as a pioneering member of the Fairfax County School Board. And so she has transitioned over to the House of Delegates and serves on counties, cities, and towns and the Science and Technology committees, but of course brings her great expertise in public and higher education to the House of Delegates. Delegate Kory.
Is it on? Okay. Thank you. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. And it's even more of a pleasure to be here as your delegate, because I know from a local level and now from a state level how hard you all work, as Vivian said, for the common good, and that your legislative agenda is a very ambitious statement that you want to preserve the foundation of the quality of life that we have here in Fairfax County. And that is my goal as well. And education is still my passion. I do believe that we must invest more and better in education in the Commonwealth of Virginia. That is our future. We have to educate our job force. We need the students who go to college here, graduate here, to stay here. And their skills need to match the needs of our workforce. I have spent a lot of time since the session ended putting together an educational advisory committee and an environmental advisory committee. Those are the two issues that I hear the most about wherever I go. And one thing that I hope to do in the next session, and I'm sure you know because of the balance of power, most of what I propose will not be passed, but it is an important time to have conversations. Last session, I focused on teacher salaries as the conversation. Virginia was 41st in the nation. That's at the bottom, not the top, for teacher salaries. It's very embarrassing. I think we need to start looking at education as pre-K through 16. We need those resources to be aligned and maximized. Summer school should be, in colleges, should be available for high school students. And we have to bring all those public education institutions together so that we can be sure we're providing the best education we can for our students. I'm sure you all know that our student body in Fairfax County is continuing to grow, which is great that so many people have confidence. It's also not so good because we don't have enough classrooms. And because public money is tight, we have to be very, very creative. If any of you are interested in working with me on either of those citizens advisory committees, do let me know. I have one big concern about the next session, and that is because redistricting is not bipartisan, I'm really worried about the important measures that may get lost. Okay, I am wrapping up. That may get lost in the political willing and dealing that has to happen when redistricting is based on partisan positions. Therefore, I ask you, even more than you usually do, please, please be loud, be in our faces, write to us, call us when issues that you think are important come up. Be sure that those things don't get traded away for boundary changes. So thanks for the opportunity to talk to you.